Beautiful. All right. Welcome to the show, Eva Marquez. I am super excited for this one. How are you doing today?
I'm very good. Thank you for having me here. I'm so excited to share this episode with you.
So I wanted to start off with your hero's journey and everything that has gotten you to where you're at now and why it is that you do what you do.
Oh, how much time do we have for that?
Oh, we
Let's
however much you want.
let's shrink it in. I was born in the former Slovakia, and I came to the United States in the 1998. It still makes me emotional.
Mm,
And the journey began. I remember that feeling of the home and the belonging, and I could not fully understand it because, we come here and we stay for a while. Sometimes we return to the homeland, sometimes we make our home here. And I made my home here, and I'm very proud and happy about it. And as my life went on, I found more about spirituality. I found these things that I always felt like I'm so weird and different, and I cannot really connect to the people. And that's how we
mm,
starseeds, right? We grow up, we find ourselves in this way that we just don't belong. And here because there are so many people here from all over the world, I started to connect with the people and learn a little bit more and more about that being different may be actually really good. Then I started to speak with the spirits. I always says for me it wasn't a smooth journey. For me it was I feel awkward. I don't understand. I had an English barrier of the speaking and the spirit barrier of the speaking. I used to be afraid of everything. I slept with my light on until I was about 28 years old, which is not a great
mm,
story to share, but many people have this like, oh my God, I knew. I did not know. And what really shifted me on this journey is when the spirit started to communicate with me and I became ill with a Lyme disease. And that really, I would say, has brought me down to finding myself and healing myself. And on that journey, I found a lot, I started to heal a lot of the dysfunction that
mm,
we are born into in our family ties, in our marriage that we may create that is not the greatest choice. And I realized that not only I have a Lyme disease that really, was putting my body in a horrible state, but I have a lot of emotional issues that contribute to everything that is happening to me. And I made a promise to myself, if I can help to myself, I'm going to help everybody who is willing to be helped. And from that point on, I found about Pleiadians. My guide came, finally talked to me. I spent so much time trying to connect with my guides, as we all do, and they didn't really talk to me the way how they talk to the
mhm.
other people. And I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God, body has this experience connecting with the Jesus Christ that came to the room, and I'm just sitting there on the bench in the meditation, and nothing is really happening to me. Nothing was really happening to me because I was so afraid of everything, which I
Mhm.
understood, years and years later. But eventually my guide came when I was washing dishes at home and he says, can you? And Pleiades. And that started all this starseed journey, literally, when I had no idea what the Pleiades is. And I was searching it on the internet. I think it was still before the Google. And a beautiful constellation came up. And I started to cry and have this emotional thing and started to speak this strange language. It's not that it was strange that the spirits talked to me. I was speaking this strange language, which is, by the way, the language of light. And I made I made a commitment to my healing and to finding my way. I would say that my two kids that I have were I guess it's around the Christmas, we get more emotional. Were
Mhm.
my biggest inspiration to making something better out of my life so I can make something better for them to guide them on that journey.
Yeah.
And with that, I changed my life. I started to follow what my guides were teaching me and making some very difficult choices of leaving the marriage, starting new, learning, meditating, healing, taking care of myself the properly that as I should. And that did not happen in a day or two. It took years to change. And then one day when I was, we go through these rebirths over and over and over. As the year ends, we kind of like collect and we revert again. And one day I was literally talking with my friend. I was like, well, what is next? What I'm gonna do? How I'm gonna approach to more people with what I do? And then I
Hmm.
hear the spirit to say, oh my guys, to say, well, if you want to change, write the books. And I was like, well, that's really
Mm.
funny. Like, with
Mm.
my English, writing the books,
Yeah.
I love the writing, but it was a challenge.
Yeah.
But I took the challenge, and when I started on the journey, I was broke in all levels, financially as well. And this is for all those people who really can't afford all these expensive courses and classes and so much on. You can go to the library and you can borrow the books and you can learn from them. And that's what I.
Hmm.
And so my goal was when I started to write that I give out as much of information to people that you don't have to necessarily have to have a session with me or classes or so much on, but you find from that book and you can compose yourself, you can find yourself, you can heal yourself, you can find yourself on your own hero's journey. And if you can do it for yourself, you can inspire the others. So that's over the years that will this shift into. If I can change myself and manifest something in my life, I hope that it will inspire to others to follow in that or do the same or similar kind of the pattern to do.
Mm. Okay. Yeah, I love your books. That's what got me connected to you, especially when I started learning about more of the connection with my Pleiadian connection that I had. Your books were like, it's almost like, the universe always puts everything in front of you when you're ready. When the student is ready, the teacher always comes in. So I remember, God, your books impacted me a lot, which I want to talk about right now, actually. Um, all of them impacted me, but there's two that left an imprint on me big time, and I want to go into the activation of the DNA, the 12 strand DNA, because that one was a big message that I got from Spirit before you came into my life. That it just kept telling me your DNA, showing me things about DNA, activating your DNA, and then boom, your book pops up. And it talks about all of these star seeds, what they do, and activating them through your ancestry from whatever star seed you align the most. Can you go into that?
Absolutely. So that was my first book to activate your starseed DNA.
Mm,
And that literally came up from a lot of reading and sessions that I have done. And it literally started as somebody asked me, well, can you activate my psychic ability? I was like, well, let me ask the team, can we do?
yeah.
And really became to DNA activation. What I compile from all of it, that when I started, to recognize this energy imprint of your past life in the universe, that there's a similarity, and that
Mm,
similarity can be described as a as a personality, literally. As I write in my book, Pleiadians are this and Andromedians are
mm,
this.
mm,
This is, our usual trauma that we bring on the earth, and this is our characteristics, and this is usually the work that we choose to do. And then I realized that if I start telling people this, that it creates the activation itself. Of course, there's a process that we go into meditation. But if our consciousness become aware, if we, let's say, read something, as to read my book, and then suddenly there's that inner memory that awaken within you, that in
yeah.
the cry, the love, the feeling, the longing. That is the awakening of the DNA. That is the best DNA activation that can actually happen,
Mm,
because it's not only here like somebody tell me something,
mm,
have a bodily reaction, because that's
yeah.
probably what you had. You had a bodily sensory reaction, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I just got shivers when you said that too.
that's what that's great. That's what everything happened because your cells react. Now, here's something great that I found all over the years. As we talk about it and our cells react, we naturally is following our saliva. So we have this water within us that enter our stomach. Whatever enter your stomach is in the bloodstream in a matter of about 15 seconds, plus minus.
Mhm.
And it's that activating our cells from the inside out. So that conscious memory, so it's like, oh, wow, or big cry, recognition, suddenly goes in that reawakening. And the cells within, suddenly go like, okay, there's a message, there's a message, there's a message.
Mm.
You are on the journey that you just can't stop as much as you want to. Sometimes goes like, I had enough. We always feel drawn back to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it just things just keep coming in. Pieces of the puzzle like start to like oh, and then it's like sometimes I remember things that for example, maybe it's something new like let's just say for example tarot.
Mhm.
All of a sudden I know it all because all of these activations just start happening. It's like wisdom that you have had from lives and lives that you have had and whatnot. Um, I wanted to see if you can speak more about like the activation of the 12 strand DNA and what does that mean for the spirit? What does that mean for the human? How does that connect you more to your Pleiadian or whatever starseed family you resonate with?
Okay. So let me first add to it, as you said, I remembered the tarot, for example, and all this information came because you activated yourself.
Hmm.
The activation connects to your consciousness, your soul mind consciousness that is connected together. And that consciousness holds the memories of your past lives. And so that
Mm.
consciousness become compatible with the consciousness of your body when you are able to perceive it. And that's how that memory or the download that you receive become conscious, when you become conscious of it. All right. So there's a
Mm.
kind of the logic behind. So there's like this energetic depository, a cloud with your memory. And suddenly, you reach that memory.
Yeah.
So consciousness within the body understand what it is because you saw some tarot cards or read the book about it, and it goes like, wow, but there comes this deep knowledge. Well, the DNA activation works on the very similar way.
Mm.
So I usually, talk to people who we recognize what energy imprint they may have, and we make that connection. So let's say you read a book and you make the connection. You says, okay, I'm the Pleiadian. Then the next step is literally, to going backwards. So I'm a Pleiadian and I went on Earth. That's why I says like, this is what we do on the Earth. And on the Earth, you must have been here in time of the Lemuria or Atlantis. That's usually one of the other or the ancient Egypt, but we usually start like from the Lemuria to Atlantis and then progress in life because we all feel so drawn to it. So you go back and in the meditation we'll go literally inside of the inner earth in the crystal cities. And we connect to the crystals because the
Mm.
crystals hold our memories. It's like, the depository of what we left for ourselves here on Earth. Because we were very smart species, extraterrestrial species back then, who knew that if we're going to come back here or something's going to happen, we're going to leave some kind of the memories here
Mm.
and retreat. So we connect to our inner essence in the DNA activation before we become even before our consciousness started to incarnate in the human body, because there's a difference in the nervous system of those two bodies and in the capability how we can understand the messages that comes to us. Now then with that we go into the body back, it's kind of like back and forth, and we start clearing. So in all my books, in that particular as well, is all how do you clear yourself? How do you clear yourself? How do you
Yeah.
clear yourself? So we connect with the human that you are today. And I usually go through all seven chakras and we disconnect what doesn't work for us in the positive way. That's usually, fast forward journey. But if I want to do it by myself at home, which everybody can, we want to
Hmm.
recognize what is limiting us. Where do I have my fears? Where do I have a grudges? If I hate somebody or cannot forgive, those are all the links that create the limitations to really be aware to connect to that higher frequency.
Mm.
Because we cannot really connect fully to that higher frequency if we, have an ego issue. And I don't mean that we resolve that ego issue in that one session, but when we recognize and we are able to let go, and there's that moment when we can have connection. So we go through that, we let go what no longer serve us in a positive way. And then we go, we usually call for the missing pieces of our soul, as in the shamanism, they call the soul fragmenting.
Fragments,
But
yeah.
I always love to call for the, from your past and from your future. Because
Mm-hmm.
in a timeline, even though, there's a lot of saying about it, everything is simultaneously happening right now. Our
Mm-hmm.
brain is not capable to recognize it.
Mm.
Are not capable to live in that one timeline with everything merged together. So we had, our breakfast and did our stuff. Now we have our interview. We're gonna have our afternoon thing. So it's not that, we really
Yeah.
one of it. So if we have that, there is our future self, let's say from the afternoon, who's guiding us. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, spirit guiding you and me to say something. We
Mm-hmm.
always have that, prepare the thing what we're gonna talk about. Then we get completely off the script because we get guided by the, by the spirit and all that happen. And we're like, oh, what was I
Yes.
talking about? So
Yes.
when that happens, then we'll go on a journey. I call it the elevator. When I teach these people, I says, okay, imagine the golden elevator and you ask to go home. If you know where the home is, go home. If you don't know, just ask to go home up there. What is your home? What was your home last place when you incarnated before you came to Earth? Because that's
Mm.
what you connect with.
Mm.
And going to golden elevator is like a little prop, little tool that help our consciousness to get where we would like to go. Now,
Mm.
so let's say we come to Pleiades because you come from the Pleiades. So then, in the Pleiades, people usually have a great visuals. I sometimes have and sometimes don't. It just depends how they feel. But there's this, like with you, I can just sit with it and I see the rainbow and we are in the Alcyon. We walk into the temple and there's these beautiful gardens. And in the gardens, they have this like a thermal water, when they have this like
Mm-hmm.
places with the thermal water. And for many Pleiadians, that's where DNA activation happen. So that you go there, but you are
Mm.
not in your alien body anymore. You are connected to your today's body that you,
Yeah.
and so here's your body. And usually these meditations or energy work is very conscious. So you are sitting here, like you and I we are sitting here, but our consciousness right now is in the Alcyon, the Pleiades.
Mm-hmm.
The water, your guides come and they usually put their hands around you. Sometimes you feel the phantom touch. Like I'm sure you felt the phantom touch when you met.
Yes. I absolutely did. Yes.
And then the DNA activation happens on the three level. The first one is the activating our chakras. Activating our chakras is literally opening our chakras, the color of the chakra, because chakras are library. It's like a depository place for our past life memories, even the future memories.
Yeah.
So the Earth Star chakra, then I go through the seven chakras and the Soul Star chakra, which I see as a 13 chakra. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm aware there are many chakras within the body. But
Yes.
Buddhists taught me, they says, if you work with the basic seven, that's the rainbow. That correlate to the rainbow body's teachings that,
Mm-hmm.
especially Tibetan rainbow body and so much
Yes.
on. Something that Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalena practice as well. So what we're working here, we are activating our rainbow body, and it starts with seven.
Mm-hmm.
If I enhance literary energy or stretch the energy of my chakra, that's what I do, but that's what we do. My chakras are electromagnetic frequency. There's not really a physical thing that it says, like, look at my chakra. It's
Yeah.
magnetic frequency there. Our electromagnetic frequency from our body, from our chakras, can communicate with the whole universe. It works on the radio frequency. It doesn't need to have a body to travel through. So same like we talk, we are connected through this wireless thing is that
Yeah.
electromagnetic frequency, but our sound here brings it into the sound frequency.
Mm-hmm.
of it is chakras can work exactly the same way. They collect that information up there, even more, or activate your books of life within each 7 levels of your body.
Mm,
And then we need to bring it in so it will be transmuted into the sound frequency in our thinking process that we are able to manifest and understand in our life. So usually it goes like, we stretch the chakras and then we bring the rainbow from the 13th star chakra down. So before I go into that, everybody who will try it at home, each level of the library has a related stories to a chakra. It is actually super simple. So the first chakra go, what is my safety and security? What are my finances? Am I worried about my health? Versus the fourth chakra, well, what did I have a broken heart? And we can look
mhm,
from this lifetime to all the lives that we had. Where are these blockages? Now, once we
mhm,
find them, we want to go into inner part of the body, which is the meridian pathway and the organs. In the DNA
mhm,
activation, when we do that, it's very simplified. Um, when we bring the rainbow within, it's like the sound frequency of love that literally swirl. I see it as the swirling rainbow that goes through the body and connect to all 12 basic meridians. Again, there's more than 12 up there.
mhm.
We have a 12 basic meridians plus our nervous system, our central and governing meridian, and central, which governs the central nervous system, at least that's how I see it, stands for a human being, for the 13 strands of the DNA. So the
Yes.
12 is the extraterrestrials, each family contribute one, plus one that makes us a human beings with all of them.
Yes.
That rainbow goes, so we went up, then it goes down, connect to the earth, and then it ground itself so we can carry it through our life. Then the third level, so that give us the sound, the thinking ability, connect us to that conscious mind, heart connection. And the third part of the activation goes in your nervous system because it's almost like in breath and out breath. I see that these three layers, which goes in our thymus gland. And that's usually when the guides come and they put the hands on the thymus gland, and you may receive some symbol, color, messages, some particular one. When we energize our thymus gland, this is a particular center that we energize our blood. It is going to the seat of the soul with our heart, and it's energized with the love of our soul. From all of us, the love of our soul goes in our heart. And from there, the energy extend, thymus gland connect with the pineal gland, with the happiness of our mind, because happy mind creates happy reality. This is when we start training our body to start running on the fearful program of ego and start run on the happy program of the highest mind or higher mind. When that connect, there's this profound feeling of the love and the happiness. So it's like, when you connect with your guides or you do book and so much on, and there's, the release, and then you have this like, oh, I feel so great. I feel happy. Again, all
Mhm.
this, in a way, endorphins and energy is released in the physical vessel. So
Yeah.
here we are in the Alcyon. Here it goes into the physical vessel. You keep swallowing your saliva every time that we speak. We can't
Mm,
stop, we do it automatically. It's
yeah.
actually consciously practiced in the Qigong's exercises on the Taoistic
Mhm.
teachings. And that itself start bringing it into the body. So that is the part of the activation. So even to reading the book and just like you're going like, I remember this, and suddenly like, I have this bodily feeling that is within you.
Mhm.
Thinking process, you probably have a cup of water, tea, or the coffee. You start yourself on the journey. Now, once the session ends or the book ends, then the really a true part of the work will begin
Mhm.
when you have to embody
Yes.
how to do this. So that
Mhm.
itself, you may feel magical for the day, two or three, but then what will be your practice? What
Yeah.
is your way of life? How you're going to change? And that where the work begins.
Mhm. Yeah, I remember when we had our session, one of the biggest things that hit me was the crystal cities, because I don't know if you remember, but the dream that I had was crazy. And like I would keep searching and searching and like trying to find somebody that knew, and I found people, but like they didn't understand it. And I'm like, how you explained it, I was like, this is exactly what happened to me. And I remember from that and with our session, everything after that that has happened has been the integration of that, to be honest. And I remember the phantom touching. There was at least 12 beings there, all from different kinds of races, and Pleiadian, reptilians, grasshopper looking beings, grays, um, God, I forgot the other names of them, but they were all different kinds of beings, and they were all like just right there touching me through the process, and I'm crying because I'm like, whoa, there's a lot of love here that I feel right now. There's so much love, and it was very eventful, very and I still go back to that recording and the meditation that we did and whatnot, but it was super powerful, and everything after that has been like the integration of that. Cause even from that, right, you said something that you explained everything so beautifully, by the way. You said something that most people don't understand, that reality is happening in fragments. It's all happening in our mind. It's sped up to a place where like we're moving, but it's really happening like all like this. So because of that, that's why you can be in that reality and this one at the same time, and how our body can heal that way. And that's just so powerful because like literally that's what was happening. We're in this an entire whole other reality, both of us together, and then we're here separate through Zoom in a place, and it's like all of this beautiful energy healing is happening.
Yes, but you also, as you said, all these changes happening, the healing happened to you, that you are capable to hold this energy, to
Mm,
receive this energy. So it's what I think, the lately there's so much of the because as it's miracle, let's do it and write that. No, there's a formula to it. You
yeah.
work on understanding yourself, finding yourself, and clearing what no longer serves you in a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
And that allow you to be in these two realities or in these dimensions to be together. And the crystals it is, I mean, there's just something
Mm,
unforgettable, right? I remember when I had
yes.
Lyme disease, and before I realized that I was so sick, and then I went there, and it feels like out of body experience, or near that body experience, with all that stuff. But up there is just so gorgeous and beautiful, and feeling is there. And even the gray beans, that somebody goes like, oh my God, or reptilian beans, they are just so beautiful and benevolent and peaceful. And they mean the best for us, and they help us. And it says, okay, go back.
Mm,
What you have to do. Because I remember telling them, like, can I stay here? Like,
yeah.
this is much better than my
I
life.
know.
And then they show me the picture of my two kids who were like 4 and 6 at the time. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, okay, I have to come back. I have to, to
Mm,
come back up there. But it is the energy that you were connected in the past, that many people are connected in the past, and everybody can achieve once we move a little bit more out of the fears, or allow ourselves to integrate that. Because what you did, you took the experience, and then you took the experience that we had together, in the meditation and in your session, and you says, okay, what else I'm gonna do with it? How else I'm gonna integrate that energy? And that is the evolutionary energy. That is beautiful.
yeah, I was really afraid like before I got to you and another friend that I have that resonate with the Pleiadians about speaking light language. Now I'm not so afraid of it. Now I do it. Like eventually I'm gonna do a podcast on it also, but it doesn't scare me anymore. A lot of the things that I went through, not only with that other person and with you, like really like allowed me to step into that, like not caring about talking about Pleiadians, or I'm a star seed, or I'm an alien from another place. Because and like you said, when I was in the Crystal City, when I went in there, I was like, I do not want to go back. I don't want to go back. I'm good. I don't want to be human anymore. And I
That's
was just like, and they were telling me like, it's not how it works, buddy. Like you have a mission here. That's why you came here. You agreed to this. And I was like, okay, fine.
yeah. Well, if we, as a part of this soul group that is helping us and assisting us,
Hmm.
could do this from the crystal cities or from the planetary way, I don't think we would be that eager to be within this body, to be honest.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
like changes on the earth, we have to make it from our body, from within ourselves. If you
Hmm.
are in a crystal city or up there, you will be able only send the electromagnetic frequency that hopefully some channeler will be able to perceive and make a podcast with it.
Correct.
To that, you are here, you're doing your work, you're doing your podcast, you're showing that be different is normal. Speaking the language of light is not such a weird thing. It's actually, beautiful, positive, benevolent kind of the thing that's helping us or healing us or helping us to evolve on many kind of the different ways. So embrace that, the cosmic energy and the inner earth energy, which I do believe create that new earth energy. That new
Mm-hmm.
earth energy is within you. I mean, we go
Hmm.
through so many fantasies, and over, the years on the journey, we change our ideas, what probably it is. But I came to the understanding that it is us. Your body within you is a part of the new earth. There's no other
Yes.
place to move to, you know. So
Yes.
it's, we're gonna leave this body here one day. It's not that we're gonna take it wherever we're gonna go. And
Hmm.
hopefully it's going to become this beautiful seed for the new future or beautiful fortifier for the, everything that's going to come. But that is the new earth. Our bodies are the new earth.
Hmm. Yeah, I came to that same agreement myself, and like also the the mindset of how you perceive and think of everything, regardless of what's going on in the matrix, regardless of what's going on. It's how you allow your higher self to be the commander in chief, to let the ego play in the matrix, and coming from a place of love, coming from a place of empathy, understanding, yes, not allowing yourself to also be hurt, but at the same time coming from love, from compassion, and more than anything, the highest vibration, your authentic self, and being that, because that makes change in people. When somebody sees somebody that is so fully themselves, it's like, God, I want that. How can I be that?
That is the
Here's the energy so that you can pick it up.
yeah, yeah. That is the best possible thing. Oh, I love that. Yeah.
I have a question from your work. Um, You emphasize the connection between the soul, ego, and mind, and the body. How do you guide others to align with these aspects of themselves and help them understand this?
So the body is the Holy Trinity, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's with our birth, at the birth, with the soul, we first connect to that lower energy of the mind, which is ego. And of course, that is within the body. First, we need to recognize this first trinity soul, ego, and the body. Because doesn't matter from which most amazing place we came from and how wonderful Crystal City or the Alcyon may be,
Mm-hmm.
we are born into the human vessel, we are born into the animal. And so
Correct.
it needs to be recognized that it has a kind of the tendency and the behavior. And I don't think that none of us were raised in this most beautiful, loving families in my age era. So our ego definitely acted up and tried to mess it up for us a lot. Let's play with
Absolutely. I know for sure that's my story too.
I think we all have a story that we don't want to tell, with
Yeah.
all stuff. But it's okay. Once we recognize ourselves, we change on this journey. And that's where suddenly the Trinity will shift from the soul ego within the body to the soul mind within the body. Now, I see it. Well, I'll explain it this way. When the when the body is conceived, when the egg and the sperm comes together, the heart is the first organ that is created
Yes.
in the fetus.
Yes.
And that is the seed for the soul. That when the soul says that soul consciousness or soul mind consciousness up
Mhm.
there, because they always work together, says like, oh, it's our time, we're gonna go. And so here is the first creation. Then second organ, according to modern medicine, is liver. According to Pleiadians, is the gallbladder. To me, they sit together. And
Mhm.
so that is the seat of our mind actually in the gallbladder, believe it or not in the brain up there. And then the third organ that is formed, it's the connection between the heart, liver, gallbladder, and that is the nervous system and the spine. And the spine that is growing the whole body. So here is the medical explanation. I see the soul within the body as this horizontal energy, a time traveler.
Mhm.
All came from well beyond from this universe, from that I call it the God, source of God, or oneness, creator, whatever we want to call it. But it's a beautiful feminine energy that entered this universe and that carries knowledge and wisdom.
Mhm.
It carries the knowledge and wisdom from beyond. It carries
Mhm.
this unconditional love. Now, what I found out from all the star nations that I work with, Pleiadians are the one who are most of it connected to this unconditional love of this pure creative energy. We can call it Sophia in the Gnostics, but here
Mhm.
in the soul. And literally, it travels from the past to the present. It's going to have a future. But your soul, even though it carries all the knowledge, it has to work with the mind. So it came to this universe, there was this one energy this way, one energy vertically, just for our
Mhm.
imaginations up there, and that would be intelligent mind. This universe is mental universe, according to the Hermetic teaching, which we, I think,
Yeah.
lost to Kybalion, right? It
Correct.
universe is a masculine universe that can manifest into physicality.
Mhm.
Uh, our mind is the creator in a way. Our mind brings things into physicality. So
Mhm.
we do have a different kind of the bodies within this universe, and we do a different kind of the creation. The soul brings this idea. So as you read in my book, I love to play with it. There's the female who brings the idea. There's a male who does the job.
Mhm. Yeah.
This beautiful twin flame energy. There is the true twin flame inside of us. The rest is the
Mhm.
soulmates, in my belief.
Oh,
But a true twin
no,
flame energy.
please repeat that one more time. Because
Our soul
I
and our
always tell everybody the same thing. Like, your twin flame is not separate from you.
heart.
It is the individual masculine and feminine energies that are within you that a soulmate activates inside of you.
Yes, that's what it is. You got it. That's there's
So,
just fantasies of it. That's what it is.
yes, thank you for speaking on that too, because boy, oh boy.
No. So when they connect to it, the only way to experience life, this twin flame, this true twin flame of the soul mind connection, the only way to
Mhm.
experience the life, they have to have some kind of the bodies. They have a light bodies, light body cannot fill the cup of the water. The physical body can go and make, the tea, make a dinner, make a cup of water.
Mhm.
When we come back to the human body, so within the human body, we know that it has been the primates genetically, evolved through the extraterrestrial DNA. So when it comes, the pure mind or the higher consciousness cannot possibly download within this body
Mhm.
because we would not know what to do with it, and we will probably distract ourselves even faster than we are doing
Oh
right.
yeah.
It's like, would you give the little kid like a fire to play with, the matches and the stuff you want? So our soul consciousness adjusts first its knowledge to the ego. And so soul, ego, and the body, it's usually based on the fears, that three-dimensional survival pattern. And as we know, it's usually a disaster or some
Mm,
kind of happiness that doesn't last. And then we start educate ourselves. We start meditate. We start be conscious of our choices. And we grow into the mind. And once we get into the mind, our soul give us more. It gives us more knowledge from the Pleiades. It gives us more knowledge about the Atlantis. It gives us more knowledge about the um, ancient Egypt or time around the Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalena. And our mind suddenly become smarter and smarter and smarter. I can understand it, and we can understand it in your body. Now,
mm,
here's something that you're gonna laugh. I love this one.
mm,
So, according to Chinese medicine, gallbladder in the spiritual energy holds the energy of choices.
mhm,
That works whenever we have gallbladder, even if they remove it, because that gallbladder pathway always stays there. So,
mhm,
with our mind, we cannot always choose, what is in my cup, how much money I have in my bank account, or in which place I'm gonna be living. But I can choose how I feel about it. And this is when you start practicing this. If
mhm,
there's nothing else, if I start practicing this, I choose how I'm gonna feel about it. So my mind makes a choice. I'm gonna feel happy, and there comes your twin flame. Your fam, your soul says, "I love love. I'm literally a love junkie up there, in a
mhm.
good positive way.
Yeah.
I'm gonna help you. Let's work together." So if I choose that I feel happy about my finances, despite whatever they may be, my soul will start giving me ideas. Says, "Oh, you're not corrupted anymore. Let's do it together." With
Mm,
or about, you know, anything that we want actually manifest within our life. So if we stop hating and we stop, living it all this kind of the illusions that the things will happen to us, but we make a choice how we feel about it, we are automatically in the fifth dimensional reality. And
mm,
so, you know, um, I know we were talking about the holidays. We can choose how the holidays will make me feel.
yes.
What I'm gonna choose out of it, Am I gonna choose to be sad because this and that doesn't happening, or I heard this and that? I'm gonna choose to be happy. Doesn't mean to be a fanatic and not to be connected to our emotions. No, of course we have to go in and process it, whatever it is. But it is up to me if I'm gonna have a good day or a bad day.
Mhm.
Even, because whenever you have a good day or bad day, you have to get through it to the end of it, because that's how our life works, right?
Yeah.
So I may have a day that may not go the way as I would like to be. So I can either let my ego throw the tantrum, or I let my mind says, you know what, I enjoy it. I'm happy. I remember having a really bad day walking in my backyard. I'm lucky to have a nice backyard. And saying like, this is great. Thank you. This is wonderful. But inside I was like, oh, okay, let's just hold it. Let's just hold it. Let's just hold it. And the things change progressively fast. And so this is that connection between
Mm,
soul, ego, and the mind within the body. So that ego is and mind is the one entity on, like, on this whole vertical frequencies, like tuning up the radio. You can be
yeah.
on really low, or you can be really high.
Mm,
There's a beautiful work, you probably already read it, from the Dr. David Hawkins, The Map of Consciousness.
yes, I have, yeah. I have it right here actually.
I mean, that has been my guide for a long time. And
Yeah.
that body, goes, I have it here on the wall as well. And that's it, that is the guide from the ego to the mind. Now, when I follow it and I will stay connected to my emotions, it doesn't mean I be only with the mind. I'm working with my twin flame. We can
Mm,
become a very mind-centered people and kind
mm,
of
mm,
push the
mm.
emotions away, and you still get your high mind, but you're not gonna get where you wanna be because
Yes.
you're emotionally unfulfilled.
Oof. Okay, so I want to speak on that because I had, ever since I read your book, something has also since the activation, something has happened to me where I now literally, as the human, observing my higher self and my ego, and my higher self speaking to the ego, teaching it a new way of safety. So it throws its tantrums, and sometimes I just say observe, right? And when it's being observed, then the ego starts to speak. Why are you here? I don't want you here. You're always judging me. And the higher self is just speaking to him. I'm not judging you. I'm just observing you. I want to learn what you're doing. We are one and the same. And it's talking, and I'm like just looking at all of this happening. And I've been working a lot as well with Mary Magdalene and Yeshua, and also at the same time calling in Archangel Raphael and Archangel Michael. And so when that whole bubble of protection is there and the healing energy of Raphael and the two masculine and feminine representations, not only within Mary Magdalene and Yeshua, but also within myself happening, I'm observing and they're observing as, and then every now and then they'll offer some advice. But most of the times it's just me and my higher self talking to the ego, where I'm learning how to like, it's learning that, oh, the higher mind is actually really safe. And there's times like I just went through a situation where my ego literally told me, the little kid inside of me looks at me and says, I'm sorry. I was doing, I thought I was doing the right thing and I was doing the best thing, right? And my higher self tells it, it's okay. I understand that that's all you knew at the time. Now we're going to teach you a new way of living. And of course, I teared up and cried because I was like, God, I've never, to me, like nobody has ever received me in that way, you know. And I always, as a kid, wanted to be received in that way, where it was like, oh, I just wanted not to be in trouble for the things that I did, you know. And I received myself that way. I parented myself that way. I became the mother and the father that way for my ego. And then now it's just embedded in my heart. And in that way, I can live from a new place, choose a new way of living, and act in a new way and be grateful, which has brought a lot of gratitude and abundance to my life because of those interactions ever since our session, ever since I read your book, which leads me into this. There is a beautiful, this story makes me cry every time I hear it. Every now and then I'll go back to it. But it's the parable that you have of the ego and of the masculine and the feminine, the ego and the mind, and how the ego created all of those things. And then it finally goes to meet the family. God, I love this story so much. Can you speak about that and go into that? Because this is a powerful story that I tried to show it to some people. Some of them, they were like, they didn't really, because they weren't at the level to even understand it. So I was like, you know what? Whenever it pops up, it'll pop up. If they want to listen to it, they'll go check out her book. But can you speak on this?
I love to tell stories in that kind of the ways because the soul would represent this beautiful female.
Hmm.
The ego, so the story starts right at the soul arrives on the earth, and the ego, who's like there, rugged, living, in the wilderness among the rough people, and sometimes they have to steal the things and do the bad things and don't even know
Yeah.
who their parents are. And suddenly he made this, and he's like, the handsome hero in the story because
Mm.
good for our imagination. And he meet this beautiful woman, and suddenly he fell in love. And they fell
Yes.
in love, and she's like, "Yep, right on time. This is what we do every single time. I completely
Yes.
don't remember."
That's what hit me the most, that it was like, we've done this dance. How much longer do you want to keep doing the kind of dance we've been doing?
And then the ego goes like, "Okay, I want her. I want that. There's just something. I just cannot walk away, but I
Yeah.
cannot tell him who I am or how I am." And so he kind of like dance around, and she always go like, "Okay, let's do this together." And because he loved her so much. And I think that happened within ourselves, that ego trying to protect us. The story is that the ego is ultimate protector, but can protect
Hmm.
only from that love vibration, like a little hood child would hide his candies and would hide a
Hmm.
toy and doesn't want to, to share that.
It's mine. It's mine.
It's mine because it doesn't know anything better. If it didn't grow in youth, it doesn't know any better. And how many of our star seeds did not grow in love? It will make me cry too. Every time I read it, I get like
God.
emotional about it, with all the stuff. And then we go in life and we want love. We want love from the others. We want it so bad. that we may become like an ego, that unpleasant kind of the person
Oof.
becomes controlling, who wants to do everything for everybody. I mean, the healers, let me do everything, but let me not take everything back. And we
Oh.
act from that ego, not because we are the bad people, because we want to be good, but we do not know how. We only know
Mm,
consciousness how. So then, the things happening and ego becomes very controlling and the soul is not happy. And then, he never wants to meet her family because he never feels worthy. He never feels worthy that he can have a good life, that he can have a woman like that, that he actually can, he cannot even believe that he can have a good luck with all that stuff.
mm-hmm.
And ego become really sick. And then, soul says, he's sick. And then she always try because she loves him. She loves the ego. She loves
Mm-hmm.
beast of the animal so much that she's willing to do whatever she can. So she kept asking him, she's like, would you meet my family? Would you meet my family? And then in one like of this sick hallucination, ego goes like, okay, I'm gonna meet your family, whatever happened, I love you, I don't want to die, I just want to stay here. Then her
Yeah.
soul family calls and they says, okay, we're gonna give him, I know I didn't put the time, so we're gonna give him a month, right? Or something like that to leave. We're gonna heal him. We're gonna give you the recipe. He's gonna get healed, but he has to meet us. Oh, I'm sorry. The story goes that they ask, I love this part. They says,
Yes.
why should we heal him?
Yes.
It's like,
Yes.
she asked for the miraculous cure.
That was my favorite part of it. That because it's like the going back to doing the dance. Like we
Yeah,
he's not gonna believe you.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
was like, oh my
Yeah.
God.
It's been several books of them. They go, well, she goes like, please heal him. First she please, right? And
Yeah.
then they go, why? And they are like so composed, so unemotional disturbed because it says,
Hmm.
"He's gonna come again, it's not a big deal. He's gonna die, you're gonna come again, you're gonna do it
Yeah.
again and again." There was at a time when my teacher actually told me when I've written that, she says, you know, your soul up there, your soul family, they don't care how many times it's gonna take you to change your life. Are you ready to change your life? And I look at it, I was like, that's not compassionate, really,
Oh boy.
The true story, but it is like that because we
It
ask
is.
for a miracle, but we don't want to change.
Mm.
And then when he agreed, and she says, he agreed.
Hmm.
And they're like, okay, there it is. Let's see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And the ego heals, right? And then he goes into denial. He goes like, no, 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 no. I could not agree to anything like
I
that.
never said
It
that.
happened. Like, look at me. I'm healthy. I'm strong. Here, that's
Yeah.
our relationship. And then Saul says, you know what? I had it. Like, I'm gonna shut myself here. We are both gonna die. She doesn't say that way, but if you are not willing to meet me in this hallway, I am not doing this. I'm gonna wait for the next lifetime. There is something
Hmm.
that I learned from the Pleiadians. They says that when we give up, a whole everything inside give up and says, okay, let's just go toward the end of the life, and you're gonna do it again and again and again, and you may make have a better choices up there. And so eventually the ego, he really, obviously our ego loves our soul, and
Hmm.
he agrees to meet the family, right? And they go into the golden elevator, and there's this like, oh my god, this is true. Oh my god, what it was
Yeah.
hallucinating about, it's true. But yeah, the point of it is of why. Why should we get the knowledge? Why should we heal? Why? When you went into the crystal city, there was also why you should come back. Because you had a choice to pass away at a time and stay there, so had I. And we made a choice of why and how we develop all that inside of ourselves. I'm so happy you love the story.
Oh my God. This story has like changed me and it has helped me because of the I see that within myself. Like God, my ego, man. It and I and it makes me want to tear up because it's like all it's doing is trying to keep you safe.
It does.
All it's
And
doing is protecting you from what it knows.
And once it's understood, you understand that little child, you understand that broken part of yourself.
Yeah.
Ego, the only thing it knows is how to be a victim or the aggressor. It's its job to either be victim or the aggressor, and it will decide whichever way it will act to protect you. So when I started
Hmm.
to go through my ego transformation, I would, sit like self, have these tasks and so much on. And then I would try to define, says, what is that you like actually? What is that little kid inside of me that like? I
Yeah.
love and I like sweets. So I did a lot of baking at that time. Because I have a neighbors I could share. I says, okay, Igor, we're gonna bake all of this, but we're gonna share it. Okay, we're gonna eat only that, we're gonna share it. And so
Mm.
today, when I feel like my ego, because it does arise once in a while, that insecurity inside of it arise because we're living in the human world. Then I listen my ego, we have a conversation, and it goes less and less and less. But I do reward a part of me. I says, and we are this, we can do all these greatest things together. What is it
Yeah.
you wanna do? Do you wanna, have something sweet that we can have ourselves? Do we want to have a treat? Do we want to plan and travel somewhere? And so much on. And suddenly the protector will become your best friend
Friend. Yes.
with all that. And that's where your mind is created. And that's where your ego grows up
Mm.
into a man who
Mm.
makes a good choices, who, so once in a while we all have may have a little slip, but who generally makes a good choices and will lead you on this journey. Actually, your soul will lead you and your
Yeah.
energy will follow that. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause to that story, like the part where he's in the waiting room and like he's like, no, this is real, right? That goes back to me at times where like I see so many things that I can sit here and talk all day about that most people would be like, that guy lost it. He's in the cuckoo's nest. But at the same time, like there's times where I go in and out of reality where my ego's like, nah, man, that wasn't real, dude. And then I'm like, and then my soul is like, that's actually more real than what you're experiencing right now, buddy. Just want to let you know that. But yeah, that part hit me, and then like obviously the acceptance of it, right? Where the ego accept it, and it's like, holy crap, this is all real, and it's not all at the same time. And it's like now the soul can drive and be at the seat, and then let the ego play, where the ego now protects the soul, where the ego now cherishes the soul, where it doesn't mistreat it and it plays against it, versus like how it will when it doesn't, when it doesn't understand the soul, when it doesn't understand this part of us, the heart energy, the love energy that we have all within us.
I like the part that when he also realized that he's worthy, of
Yeah,
his soul.
that's the best right there, like knowing that you're worthy.
It's like this, like, oh my God. And she says, I always come there to you. It doesn't matter how much you abuse me, how much you hurt me,
Yeah,
you do to me. I come back to you because
always.
we belong together with all that stuff. And it's just, yeah, and then it's the transformation that comes to it when we make a choice because he finally made a choice. He says, okay, I'm not dying. We are going to do this. It takes a lot of courage and bravery. And the point is that no one can do it for us. There's no one in your life, in my life, that can walk to us and can says any of this that will make that meaning. We have to find it inside of ourselves. So I remember when my teacher told me that I was angry for a few days, and there was this, but the anger that my ego anger,
Mm-hmm.
I went into this like it was a breakthrough. It was a beautiful breakthrough.
Mm-hmm.
And I says, okay, I don't want to wait another lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes. I
Yep.
want now I'm gonna challenge myself with it. And I says, I want you to help me because there's something beautiful about the mind as well, or something that I have learned in the last few years. All our senses are five basic senses: smell, taste, sight, touch, and the sound are all masculine senses.
Yes.
Our soul is within ourselves, okay? Is that invisible energy like a chakras, that light invisible energy. But the masculine energy brings soul experience into reality. So We can
Mm.
experience that reality through that ego kind of the reality, because we all have a basic five senses, all that stuff. And if we don't, some other senses better. Or we can experience that from that mind perspective, because we
Mm-hmm.
are in the, again, physical world. And even though we are in these dimensions, we should hold ourselves here. And yeah, with all that stuff. And whenever it comes at fears, it's just making ourselves feel safe. Just get that feeling. How does it make you feel safe? And I think the one beautiful thing, what it is for what you said, once you create that, I call it the frequency, the picture and the feeling and the talks, all together with that
Yeah.
the boy was accepted. It is such an unforgettable feeling, a frequency that become part of you. And
Yeah.
you vibrate it to everybody around you. So whoever have that issue
Yes.
with you, they just I like to watch your Instagram, all those things, because I was like, oh my God, this is so beautifully balanced and heart centered and
Mhm.
beautiful. So when you asked me to be in the podcast, I was like, yes, yes, I want
Thank
to do
you. I
that. I'm
appreciate that.
excited about it because it's just pure. Your energy
Yeah.
transforms actually incredibly from the time that we did our session. You're like a different
Yeah,
person
I
within
am.
practice, and that's just beautiful.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I received that with all of my heart because I've worked on that for sure. So thank you. I highly recommend anybody that has not heard that story to go hear that story because it will help you out a lot.
I think it's in the
Um,
playing code one.
that's the second one. It's the
Two.
cosmic love one.
Cosmic love. Okay.
Yes. So I have this question. You help starseeds adjust to their human bodies. What are some of the common challenges starseeds face in this process?
Years.
Fears. Yeah.
Years of ourselves, what we can find inside. So starseeds have, all our abilities actually run through our chakra and five basic senses. Empathy, for example, okay, that is our third chakra, and that connect to our ability of the third eye, the inner eye, to see. And so we perceive, the negativity of our environment, of our family, of our coworkers when go to the store. And so the challenge is suddenly says, I'm true empath and I'm have a hard time to function through my day. And so when we go there, we recognize why. I mean, we go through wearing a gazillion of the stones, and I wrote about them as well for the protection so much on until recognizing that the best protection is our inner love, and that that activated twin flame energy of us, and recognition. So some people may have a bad day. I don't necessarily need to feel the energy. I can pull it inside. So that's what it means. Or when people, I don't know, they want to change the occupation, and so we try to figure it out how to use their energy. For example, the teachers, there are so many frustrated teachers. And when we
Mm,
talk about it and identify the particular energy, and they realize that they can actually empathically feel or to know the child's ability. I remember this one lady I worked with, she was a college level teacher. And after that, she came back to me and she says, there was this one student, and I realized that he's dyslexic.
mm,
One, I started to realize it and give him example in the little, to teach him and show him and doing the test in a different way. This boy excel in that in the class that he would fail. So I would say those may be, the challenges that we feel the different and we hate what we do instead of to understanding and says, do I really hate what I do, or is it my mission to do it? Or if I really want to change it, what I'm gonna be. So the goal is whatever starts
mm,
knowledge or ability we have, how do we use them with our body? See,
mm,
there's no reason for me or you, in a way, to be connected to Pleiades and know that if we don't carry that energy within this world. It is not just for our knowledge and bye, I'm going to the Pleiades by the end of the life. You guys be well up here. It is our job, our responsibility, our mission
mm,
to embody that energy and bring that love of God that we carry
mm,
to the whole world. We may
mhm,
not be the most inventive kind of the people, but we are very loving people, family-centered people. We love to look for the knowledge, and we love to translate it in the most positive and the loving way up there. Versus, let's say, Syrian beings, those are usually a lot of teachers up there. They are more
Hmm.
in that intelligent energy, and so find that emotions and the feeling and be able to connect to those people up there and says, okay, there's no cookie cutter thing. I may adjust everything to you differently. That goes to doctors. Imagine that the doctors today and the nurses would be trained in the energy healing and in the star seed
Mm,
abilities. That not only you walk
definitely.
to ER, the doctor or the nurse sees you, but before they even x-ray you, they just feel your energy and they says, okay, this is just non-eventful thing, or God, you're having a heart attack, let's help you right away. So
Yeah.
those, I think, are purposes, what I enjoy to work with people.
Wow. Yeah. What a different world that would be to like really read somebody's energy and be like, "Oh, you're having a heart attack. This is how we can help you." You don't automatically have to go to surgery. You don't automatically have to get some pills shoved down your throat. Yeah, that would be beautiful.
Those are the Andromedan beings. Andromedans are the best healers up here on the earth. Many of them end up in the medical field. And so
Mm,
let's say it suddenly goes like, I feel all these energies and I'm not feeling good. And sometimes the energy makes you sick. It makes us sick because there's just so much of it and we don't understand it. And so
yeah,
start understanding it, how this affecting us, then we can understand, oh, it's for the good.
yeah,
It's for bad. We don't have to be afraid of everything.
yeah. Something that you put together for me very beautifully in our session was, if you remember, oh look at that, it's 11:11. Um, about you telling me like, oh, there's a reason you were an electrician. And I was like, well, yeah, of course, because I wanted to see where electricity came from. But you kind of like helped me see a different perspective to that with the nervous system. Funnily enough, in that time, I was already starting to work with my nervous system and breath work and how to take the nervous system from the sympathetic to the parasympathetic, right? So I I grabbed a new tool for my coaching. Now I actually help people do that with their story and through the nervous system and how to, the sympathetic nervous system tightens up the body, right?
Yes.
The parasympathetic nervous starts to open it. So the breath, of course, that's consciousness, that's spirit. That's the breath. He breathed the breath of life into humanity. Um, and when you use the breath, that opens the system. It starts to release the energy that you need to release that has always been trapped in there. So that was like one of the biggest things. Like I want to go in deeper with it. I've only gone so minimal with it as far as like the nervous system and other aspects of it. So I'm going to for sure go a lot deeper to like go into that because like you said, right? There's a panel and then every single circuit goes out of that. That's the nervous system. That's exactly how the nervous system looks. And it's the center, the heart is the panel. That's where all the energy, all the circuit goes from and then goes in and out, positive, negative, masculine, feminine, right? So,
Now I'm gonna
yeah,
give you a clue. You need to go down to the stomach because the ego
yes.
stomach. So in the stomach organ, okay, so let's say the mind is within your gallbladder, then I think the ego hijack it into the liver, and
Mm-hmm.
you realize that it can control from the stomach. So it should be within the heart and all that stuff. But the ego rewired it, kind of like, came and put these outside wires that nobody will see to protect everybody. So
Mm-hmm.
the organ is connected to all seven chakras and seven meridians that would be connected up there. And so kind of look what kind of the meridians are connected to the stomach, and that's gonna shows you which organs are interacting with the stomach organ. And we know that every organ is wired up with the electricity with the nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
So once you start understanding that, like the fear makes us give us a stomach ache and make us afraid.
Yes.
Maybe we can develop all kind of the allergies.
Mm-hmm.
There's that energy, right, going to the small intestine. And that's what the ego would control. So you maybe, that's why we practice the safe, because the feeling the safe is the feeling that our body can also digest. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
when we have some food that says, oh, this is the safe to eat, this is safe to eat, this is safe to eat. So we're training our ego to this safe energy to have. So, so with the people who would have a lot of issues, look down how you rewire it, or how you take the breathing from the stomach
Mm-hmm.
here into the lungs and play with it, because again your background as an electrician give you a deeper understanding than you would be a doctor of the nervous system, because then it would be indoctrinated in perfect ways how it should be.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody told me a long time ago, when I'm gonna tell you, you are so gifted you became electrician. I've not became, again, um, disciplinary taught as the medicine would teach you about the nervous system. So
Yeah.
my hobby is the acupuncture, acupressure. Actually, I like to look at the books and push the buttons and look at all of that. And I would always joke. I was like, oh, if I started this life again, I want to be an acupuncture doctor. And I had two or three of them told me, it's like, you have no idea what a gift you have. You can make your
Mm.
own opinion and feel it and go like with it, instead of just, once you learn it like ABC, it's
Yeah.
harder to divert from it in our, like, let's see what we're gonna do with it.
Yeah.
So I'm so
Yeah.
about your story. Yeah, I remember that when I was telling you that. Yeah.
Yeah, and even like to take it deeper, like right, that story that you told me about that made me understand like, oh, this is probably why I'm a Virgo in this life. I've had the gut has been my biggest problem. Now that I figured it out with the breath and more than that, right? The three brains, the gut, the heart, and this one, and the Holy Trinity, in my opinion, of the human body. Um, when I found that out, like it was like, whoa, like this is a game changer. And then Virgo in the zodiac represents the gut. It represents the health of the body. It represents to an extent not necessarily the nervous system, but the vagus nerve connects to a big portion of that. And yeah, it was that put all of those pieces of the puzzle together for me. So I was like, God, I love life.
And Virgo Star Nation, who are like these evolved actors, they are in the higher dimension, but they sort of take the Andromedan body healing in that next level of it.
Hmm.
And the birth chart. So you have that healer within yourself, but it's
Yes.
hands-on healer. It's to understand. And ancient Syrians, which are the knowledge keeper, they train us, the ancient ones who have been here, or stars who have been here, how to program, how to save the knowledge within the bones. And all that is done through the nervous system. So somewhere deeper within you, you must have a knowledge through it, because the nervous system is that third level of the body. The same as we can program the computer, the crystals.
Hmm.
If are on your journey and have a lot of knowledge, you can deposit it in your bones. That's why we call the body crystalline body, because out of the whole body,
Mm.
bones can crystallize or can survive for the thousands of years. So there's
Yes.
a way how to enter the information into the body through the nervous system, through
Mm.
the solidity of it, and how to retrieve it. Um, I was in the India the December, January to train in the city program that I do with the transcendental meditation. And there's a one fabulous thing that I have learned, a piece of the puzzle for me. It's that the last trauma is locked within the body in the nervous system. So you're literally
Mm.
working with the people through the nervous system to unlock that last trauma. So let's say we have released our childhood abuse or something what happened to us, but the body memory holds
Yeah.
it inside within the nervous system.
Yes.
And then eventually, once it's either the touch, or you may be laughing or cracking, and suddenly goes like pop. It feels like something leaves you, but
Mm-hmm.
consciousness kind of leads you to it, and that's what you're going to work with people. I think that's much that deeper level. So the each of us, we get this piece of the puzzles that we put together, and that
Mm-hmm.
is beautiful. So imagine that you healing the people who are going to have a child, for example, this future of the human
Yes.
and who conceive a child. I wish I knew it before I had my kids, but that's a long time ago.
I know.
All that. And you can conceive a child without passing our
That.
ancestral and our personal trauma to the future.
Mm,
I mean, that is something so
yes.
revolutionary that I wish to see in my lifetime yet. And that's, the people like you will figure it out. So I think there's such a beauty to mentioning that we don't have to have the most amazing education because people get so stuck in it. All we have to do is really look into the simplicity and look at what my soul and the ego guide me to do because there's the hidden secret about it. Out of the electricity within the house or where you work
Hmm.
comes the electricity in the body.
Yeah.
That is the nervous system. And it can be simple, it can be complicated, it can
Hmm.
any kind of the way. And all these energies run on the nervous system that has to be worked with energetically. But I also start telling the people like, and I'm not a doctor, I cannot say it, but like take a good minerals, do the research. What are the good vitamins for your nervous system, for your body? Energy doesn't solve all the problems. There's
Yeah.
the understanding ourselves, the energy and the nutrition.
Mm,
Very important.
yes. Thank you for saying that 100%. Yeah, because there's also the physical body that, so
Yeah.
so I wanted to see if you can to the people that might not know what a starseed is, what kind of starseeds there are, if you can briefly go into them and the roles that they have played not only here on Earth and what they're doing to help Earth, and also um, just their general basis and a little bit of information on them, if you can, please.
Let's do it fast. For my last book with the six of them that I'm quite sure about, and the seventh, the human being. But the starseed is someone who had a past life beyond the earth, before you came on the earth. So as we trace our past life here on the earth and we kind of go in the past, suddenly you can trace your past life in some kind of this constellation within the universe. Each of this constellation holds some kind of, let's say, teaching personality. And where we came from there, we carry that with us on earth. So let's start with the Pleiadians. Pleiadians hold the unconditional love and they are soul healers.
Hmm.
So up there, we are in that beautiful energy of love and we study all about the knowledge of the soul. We preserve that knowledge and do the healing from that way. On the earth, we become a storytellers. We love to tell stories because when we tell stories, we get the ego entertained until it can mind in a way. And the story is more perceivable than a teaching. And that's where the soul healing happen. So we may enjoy to actually watch more Marvel movies than read some kind of
Hmm.
about it because we find that story within ourselves.
Yeah.
That's what we do. And the challenge of the Palladians is usually lack of love, emotion, abuse, all these emotional kind of the issues. Then we have those who came from the Andromeda. As I said, no, Andromedans are phenomenal healers of the body. Like up there in the universe, those bodies work for a few thousands of years. They have a little bit more time than we have here within the body. And so we travel to Andromeda to for the fix up of our vessel. Think of it like you buy yourself a fancy Tesla, the Cybertruck, and you need to fix it once in a while. Maybe you don't, or something. And they can fix it, they can refurbish, they can make the vessel the best that it can be so it can hold the soul mind consciousness. If you have a problem with the soul, they send you to the Pleiadians. If you have a problem with the mind, they will send you actually to Orion beings. On
Mm,
the earth, when we are here, the Andromedans are here to push medical and holistic into that next level. We do have a sophisticated medical um, industry or the way. I mean, the surgeries and this. Of course, we it's overused in some of the way that we don't like. But I mean, the woman doesn't die through the childbirth because we have a C-sections when it's needed, or some kind of the surgery that we have, or medicine that we have. I mean, penicillin does save the life. And then there's a holistic approach of it, the nature, the herbs, the hands-on healing, that combined together, that is a beautiful futuristic medicine that they bring. I usually Andromedan struck ones of lower back pains here on the earth. Uh,
Mm.
and we have Orion beings. So the Orions are known as the Dark Lord of the universe, are parts of the galactic wars troublemakers. And of course, that is over. The things have changed, and even them, assisting us in the best. Those are these reptilian beings that connects to our gallbladder that left us a choice. If they wanted to control us forever and eat our brain and I don't know, we be their slaves, they would never leave that choice within the body to evolve into higher mind and be free and do what we
Mm.
want to do. So Orion plays is the source of the, let's say, universal mind, or the like a think of it like the big computer drive with all the knowledge, my
Mhm.
knowledge, how to create kind of the things. That's why a lot of monuments both up there. Well, Orion beings on the earth have been warriors in many kind of the time frames, and they are those who really teach us about variety aspects of the mind, because they go from the abusive to the victim size to the mind
Mm.
control to all the spectrums of the mind, so we can realize how we can be in the control of our mind. On
Mhm.
once the Orion beings figure it out who they are on the earth, they are the best one to change our life patterns. So if you want to change the life patterns and your way of the thinking, then the Orion beings would be the greatest up there to help you in recognizing in this very, you know, uh, not much emotional way, to recognize how your patterns are messing up your life and how you keep repeating over and over what else you can do. Also, the
Mm.
teaching on the earth is very much connected, to how they work. Then we have Assyrian beings. I love the Syrians because those are teachers. I love all of them, but they each of them, bring something unique that we
Yeah.
put in the puzzle. So Akashic records, I believe, are in the series. So we can call them teachers, knowledge keepers, wisdom bringers.
Mhm.
They literally, come here and says, okay, let me teach you. And
Mhm.
there's actually ground connected to them. I was like, oh, you little aliens, you're running well too wild, and now you're
Mhm.
here. You completely forgot who you are. Let me just teach you. So they bring teachings. They recorded a lot of knowledge within the inner earth. I believe they are the founders actually of the crystal cities of the inner earth, and says, hey, let's create a depository here because you guys are so crazy in your incarnations. Let's
Mhm.
just get the backup file here. And, they join that as well. They help to set up communities and maybe even countries. Many of them go into military, the law, the lawyers, because they have that sense for the justice, and but in a good way,
Mm.
the peace and the justice to everybody. They have a beautiful balance, the ego, soul mind connections. And when you are in the series, you study both of it. You study the part of the soul, part of the mind, how they connect together. There's a
Mm.
twin flame temple in the
Yeah.
series I thought about, and sometimes people okay fantasize, I'm gonna go there find a twin flame. Well, you have to find it within yourself, because if you find that love within yourself, the love that you are looking for will find you, and you will meet your soulmate.
Mhm.
So that's what they do here. Then, oh, by the way, the Syrians here on the earth, they have so many books at home and they read all of them. And what I think the Pleiadians are a little jealous about is that they remember every single thing from them. They have a fabulous memories and they can recall the books that they read years ago, versus I have a hard time to remember the names sometimes. So they are really great with the memories. Then there's which one I didn't talk about? The Ursula Major. That's the one that we don't talk too much about. Big.
Mm.
Those are the cosmic mothers. And their energy is sort of, becoming well known or more known right now. But they are most likely the one of the oldest beings that connect, to our sector up here. And the energy with our body is within the lungs, actually, within the
Mm.
ovaries of the females, testicles with the males, and the brain. That is the creative power within us, the most original creative power that we can reach in our reach within this universe.
Yeah.
We have our masculine energy, the Orion energy, and we have the Ursula Major energy. And so when you breathe the breath of life, as you're helping people, to release from that nervous system, you can breathe this cosmic mother creative energy within yourself and conceive an idea which we feel like we conceive this fetus that's gonna grow into our child. A book. Each of my book is my child, literally up there.
Yeah.
With all of that, that's how we bring it together. So on the earth, they have an incredible creative power. There's a lot of connected to their sexuality and the tantric teaching. If anybody's interested, Mantak Chia has written a wonderful book about healing love with Tao. The good kind of the material. You want to look always for the good kind of the material, not
Yes.
promise shortcuts. And who else we have? That Lyrans.
Mm.
Lyrans, I see as there's this humanoid beings, very evolved star nation, and a lion beings or feline look like beings, cat look like beings.
Yeah.
And if on their planet before it was destroyed, and it's sort of like a Lemuria and Atlantis, one, the feline beings living in that purity of the healing, and the humanoids would be more futuristic, doing everything, evolve everything, evolve the AI. It is believed, or I believe, that the Ursula Major, the Cosmic Mothers, gave the Lyran the technology how to evolve the DNA. I used to watch this for many years that, lions manipulate the DNA. They are the grandfathers of the DNA, which is true. And because, we all go to it like, oh God, everything goes, we get stuck here. We play with it too much, you know,
Hmm.
and the DNA was manipulated. Then actually a few weeks ago, something hit me that I'm using such a negative word. They didn't meant it bad. They
Mm.
wanted to evolve themselves
Yeah.
on the earth. It wasn't done for, if anything would be done, control, or our feeling of the choices would be taken away. And it wasn't. So it was not done really for the control. It was like, okay, here you're gonna do your job for a little bit, and then you can do whatever you want. So
Hmm.
I think that they destroy themselves. They are the stories that have been destroyed in the war. I think that through the highest technology, they unfortunately destroy themselves and they migrated to other star nations in the benevolent way, to the Sirius, to the Pleiades, to the Alpha Centaurus, and to the many others yet. But those are like three that I usually connect with. And they started to learn, why did we make mistakes? How does this mind work? How much of this AI we can actually use? And
Mm.
when is it beneficial to the whole planet and when it's done against us? So here on the earth is very interesting because many Lyrans that I read for are the high-tech AI developers,
Hmm. Yeah.
all that stuff, the computer geeks, and
Yeah.
there's all there. And they are coming to that beautiful hard mind conscious that they have learned that there has to be decisions to make, that yes, we can have a robots and AI that will help us. The technology is not bad, but we have to have it to the point when it's, again, when it's assist us, not where we're gonna become slave to it. So let's say,
Gotcha.
for example, there's no need for the first human flying to the Mars, when we can fly the robots to the Mars to develop it into a beautiful colony before humans will move in. So there doesn't have to be casualty of the human.
Yeah.
But this can be used in the most amazing kind of the way. Now, it's very interesting that the Lyran DNA, in my last book, I'm planning to connecting it in the organs, runs in your stomach. So
Mm.
as the DNA evolution, okay? Here on the earth with everything learning. If I want to heal anything, when I change my DNA, well, not that completely change it, but evolve it, I can do it with a cup of tea. I can energize the cup of tea. And when we drink it, whatever comes to our stomach, thanks to the gift of our light and star seeds, goes in our bloodstream and start programming the body. So same day as they programming the computer, they gave us a gift to program the body with
Ooh,
what we want.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Do you want me to go on?
Yeah, yeah. It's up to you if you want.
There's a one more. There's a centaurus. Let me just.
Yeah, that you know what you said
My.
right there. I remember the
Uh-huh.
um how you had told me in my session, like, grab a tea or something like that, and I ended up doing the golden milk.
Did
That
you?
helps. That helps out with like my meditations and whatnot, and bringing in that inner knowledge and just speaking to it in that way that you were talking about. It's a really good practice that has helped me 100%.
Good, good, good. Computer plug. My electricity got a little bit stuck here. So,
Oh, it's okay.
so we have a. Yeah, that is a great. I teach that to everybody who's willing to listen now with the tea and the stuff. This is Centaurus I want to tell you about.
Okay.
Centaurus beings, Alpha Centaurus are the first beings who are hybrids. So there are some stars who consider themselves hybrids. That was the first experiment if sort of, combining a 2, 3, maximum 4 DNA into one body, evolving, developing that morely maybe sophisticated body or the body that's going to create some kind of the oneness. So what I believe, like in the star nations, when we are there, our consciousness is connected with our DNA to that body, let's say Pleiadians, Sirians, Orions. Now, in the Alpha Centaurus, there will be, let's say, Pleiadian, Sirian, um, Andromedan, and Centaurian, which will be usually reptilian or dinosaurian kind of the DNA, so the animal DNA.
Mm,
They started to, to look at these beings and says, okay, how you are different than us. And they were a little bit lost between like, we don't belong anywhere and we are different. And so they started, I believe that original psychology actually developed in the Centaurus to help these beings to understand that being different and combination to all of this is actually a beautiful thing. So, because before that, I believe that each star nation just stood within themselves. Sort of like, when we look on the earth, like, Czech people, we stay Czech people, Russian people stay with Russian people, German
okay.
people stay with German people. We will not, date and make babies together.
Yeah.
Now it's whole world. And I think it's a beautiful thing that we are all seeing ourselves as a oneness despite where we came from. And that happened up there with the DNA. And then when the humans were, created, or when the primates were evolved, if we think about it, this body that we each have has actually 13, 12 different extraterrestrial DNA plus one animal DNA that makes us a human. So our
Mm,
challenge is to align it all together. Sort of like we have these 12 family members that we may not always like every single one of them.
mm,
There is a misbehaving ego up there. And we have to sort of make it as this beautiful circle of the 13 within ourselves. So the
mm,
Centaurian came here to teach that, a lot of it. He says,
mm.
experience that. So we will teach you
Wow.
how you integrate all this within ourselves. So even though, like you and I, we connect more deeply to the Pleiades, we still have these other star nations within our body because they are there.
Okay.
There's a healer, there's a mind, somebody who's like absolutely clear. There's the one who coding everything from the Lyra, and we have to
Yeah.
learn to work with them. And that's,
Got you.
I think it's actually fascinating if you think about it. And maybe in the whole alien perspective. Let's say that we are the experiment, possibly up here.
Yeah.
Experiment is can we work in the wholeness within our body, not even with our family or so, like with ourselves? Can we become in peace with ourselves? That
Ooh,
means can we
yeah.
be in the peace with all those nations within us? Can we accept that we are part of the reptilian or part of
Mm,
this and part of that? Because
okay.
as we played it, even me many years ago, I was like, no, it's just us, and this is that's unfortunately I wasn't true. I have rewritten that in the book because it wasn't true.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that back then. I learned that. So when we have that within ourselves, we become that oneness. And suddenly, when we have that, you have that, we share it with the others and others and others. So then maybe when we truly ascend, go up there, that we go into this wholeness and oneness. We are not going to go into separation of our homes again.
Mm,
Perhaps the home is the one big planet up there. We
yeah.
don't.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that actually because I was like, I know for sure I resonate, like, I know because I connect to Pleiadian beings and I resonate with that and I feel that energy more than any of them, right? But then I was like, when you were saying some of them, I was like, wait, I'd be remembering everything, kind of like all of the books and where, what page and all that. So I was like, oh, okay, So I was gonna ask, like, are all of them? And like that bridges with me with connecting with what you just said with the 12 Meseroth and the 12 zodiac signs creating one human because all of the zodiacs are within us all. Like you said, all of the extra and I see them as that. The 12 zodiacs are the 12 strand or the extraterrestrial beings that have connected all of the DNA to make the 13 the whole.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly the same way. And when it,
Hmm.
and I think it's for every single one of us, there's a progression to come to it as like, oh my God, this is how it is. And then
Mm.
it can become the simple, with all the stuff. But I see it exactly same as you way. In the ancient temple of Dendera in the Egypt, there's that famous zodiac on the
Yeah.
sailing.
Yeah. Yeah.
13. The 13 last one is the Ursula Major that goes to the cosmic mothers. Sort of
Mm.
almost like, look where you came from, and there is evolve. And what is interesting that the Taoistic teaching teach that the Ursula Major is like, the beginning point from where we come from. So I truly believe that's how it is. And then to uh, to progress on our spiritual journey, we do become all of those star nations within us. So we activate it. And this is probably how our call it special ability, gifts, extraordinary ability, whatever, what we're gonna do to it, that's what it is. So when we master our Pleiadian within us, we become heart-centered beings. We become loving, we become forgiving, we go under the beach of the gratitude, with all of that. And through that compassion, we are able to connect to the other people's story and help them to do that. Let's say with the Syrians run in our blood. So it's connected to our blood and sexual organs. And there's, that Ursula Major is hidden up there, but it should be, about all the love and happiness up there. And they bring the messages. And if they are knowledge keepers, then we have to become exceptionally smart, like with that, able to remember. So our mind doesn't matter if we aging, it will become sharp with the memory.
Yeah.
Where the Orion beings can lead us to the inventions, because it's
Mm.
imagine it is like this file where when I teach this, you sort of walk into this like I call it like a shopping store we go to, and you have to
Yeah.
all your emotions are behind, like everything. You go there sort of like in the very mind-centered personality, and you go like, what is it that I need? Nails and scissors and this and that. So we go there. What is it,
Mhm.
or what we wanna manifest in the pattern in our life, and then we
Yeah.
again and download it into the body, and then it has to be connected to the emotions. But
Ooh.
if you go there, there is a, like when we meditate, people say meditate, and then you reach this place and you come back into the body and you can't remember what you were experiencing because your soul mind consciousness is not aligned to translate. and maybe like way too much.
Yeah.
That is. And then there are stories, and after studying in the India, I experienced it once that you go to this field and there's just such amazing knowledge. He says, it's beautiful. I don't need to
Mm-hmm.
put it to earth. And that is, through, I would say, it's the energy of the master says it is up there, but what is it going to do for you up there? It may not be, and then you kind of leave that energy there. So what I'm trying to say, that imagine that we have a 13 extraordinary abilities.
Mm.
What I teach, or what I have recognized by now, is um, six, well, seven. The five senses that we have, like when we did, video golden milk, will become
Mm-hmm.
extraordinary ability to hearing, the smelling, the tasting, all that.
Yeah.
You can time travel with that because you
Mm-hmm.
had to eat and drink something up there. Then, it comes in the awareness, and the human ability is our voice. We
Mm-hmm.
create our voice. Today, you and I could create this beautiful podcast that, we have this desire to send the message, to all those who are willing to listen. Like, look, it's not that hard to look with the ego, work with the ego. Look, when I reach this mind that is absolutely spectacular. It is fabulous to be different. We create a reality by our voice. We create a reality by sharing our story of feeling that we want to cry, because yes, some of these things do make us feel teary and cry and remember, and it's like, okay, this is where I came from and this is where I am today. And it's fabulous, with
Yeah.
a few years back you go like, gosh, I wish that it's gonna be this way or that. Like, it's like, whew, it's mind blowing to what happens. And of course there's that emotional component to it, but we create a reality and we recognize, and it says, okay, this is what I want now. This is what I want to create. This is the impact I want to make within the world.
Mm.
Whatever I want, of course, I again have to develop it in myself. And the way we speak, we carry that frequency. So, yo, healed child, every time that you speak through it. Like, you can speak about the weather or whatever song you like to listen. And yeah,
Yeah.
a child speaking through there and doing all these wonderful things. So one day
Mm.
I joke about it. One day, when we're sitting by that beautiful some council of the light somewhere, in the series or somewhere, and there will be this representation of the human species, and they go like, what is your extraordinary ability? How we now want to have this healing and telepathy, and they goes like, we create with our voice.
Mm.
And they're like, wow, let us to travel to the earth to create with a voice. And then, you come here and it goes like, oh, I cannot really speak. So first you have to find your voice, right? You like find that inner self to go through a journey until you find your voice. And even let's say people says, I cannot speak, you can think. A thinking and expression creates a reality. So
Yeah.
if I'm going to listen and negative things, sad things, and I think we all, even I need once in a while reality check. Like, okay, I'm not gonna because we get sucked, into
Yeah,
the
we do.
and the stuff, and it says, this is not doing anything good for me. I'm just feeling sad or depressed. So I'm gonna disconnect from it, and it's not I'm gonna live in my naivety, but I'm gonna choose to news what I listen. I don't even watch the TV anymore with all that stuff, how I'm gonna
Yeah.
do it. And that will be my reality. That's what I'm gonna create. And I realized it works.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Uh,
100%.
yep.
100% it works. Like that's the point of this podcast is the expression of the voice to create with it. Another thing, that I teach myself is being impeccable with the word. The word, there's a reason why, like, again, I repeated this in the last episode I did, I believe, is in the beginning there was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God, because you create with the word, with your voice. Like, just like you said right now, it's so powerful when we create what our voice can create, what our language creates. So it's unbelievable. I had one last couple last questions for you. What are some upcoming projects and teachings you're excited to share with the audience, and where can people find you?
So I do teach classes on the Tuesdays. My next, I guess the last one that your listeners will hear will be on the Tuesday, December 17th.
Okay.
It's about the future lives. So we're gonna literally take a past life meditation. We're gonna apply it as the future life or future lives meditation. So it's
Mm,
gonna
wow.
be just a short class by the end of the year. And then my next class will start sometime by the end of the January, which I think will be soul healing classes. So I teach the soul healing, Trinity Starseed Healer, language of light classes. So you can look at my website, evamarquez.org, O-R-G, and there you find everything about me, about the sessions, about the classes, about my books. And yeah, I have a YouTube channel with Eva Marquez as well. So, and my books, of course, on the Amazon under the Eva.
Yes, yes. I myself highly recommend all the books. I bought them all. um, I also recommend a session. Guarantee you things will change in your life.
Thank you so.
Um, yes. And then, so I usually ask three questions at the end of the podcast, always. Um, what is your meaning to life?
What is my meaning to life?
Yes.
Create a way, live with a way of life that will inspire others. Have a beautiful and happy family.
Mm,
Um, Live hear something when I won't be here that, the stories that maybe the people will retort. It doesn't matter that they remember that Eva Marquez have written them, but if they will tell the story of the soul and the ego as we talk about,
that's
that,
beautiful.
will make my soul be very happy up there. But live a way of life that inspire the others.
That's beautiful. I love that. That I think that's my favorite one so far, to be honest. Okay. 10 years in the past, that version of you, what would this version of you right now tell that person?
Believe in yourself.
Ooh,
Believe in yourself, girl. Just keep going.
yes.
Yeah, that was
Yes.
I wrote my books, yeah. Just and what I would also add that obviously I speak with an accent. I never
Mm.
mastered the perfect English. And that was my
It's beautiful, by the way, in my opinion.
thank you. That was my biggest low self-consciousness. So I says, don't matter how you speak, just keep writing and keep speaking and do what you do and just believe in yourself.
That's beautiful. All right, and then what's one message you want to leave humanity with?
Be yourself. Stop to
Being yourself.
be yourself.
God, it's so hard for somebody to be themselves when you don't understand who you are. When you understand who you are, guess what? No, nothing else matters but being yourself. That's so beautifully, simply said. And then, last but not least, is there anything on your heart that you want to leave the audience with? Any last words?
I want you to wish you all happy holidays, whatever it is that you are celebrating, whatever it is that you call it. Just know that we pursue this happiness, but our family is the true happiness. Um,
Mm,
that is something that will always stay with you. So I know that many people struggle with their families, especially on the holidays. Go like, oh God, I have to go there.
yeah.
This,
Mm-hmm.
that. Put your differences aside just to see them that they are struggling and going through something as you did or as you are going through, and embrace them with love and create that happiness within you that you would like to have within your family. Don't wait until they become happy and they make you happy. Be the one that is that loving, happy center of your family, and everything else will grow from it. There will be people who will be gravitate to you, and there will be people who will never want to see you again. And that's okay as well. I mean,
And that's okay.
to that it is okay if some people from even your family and so much on wants to have nothing to do because you are not as they would like you to be. You want to
Mm,
you are be yourself and you embrace that, the honesty, integrity towards yourself, living with the love of your soul, happiness of your mind, then you're going to create a new family, other
yeah.
family. Strangers will come to your family. And I think that bond that is so simple is the most beautiful. There is something that brings the peace to this world. Because when we can be in the peace within ourselves and within the family that we have or the family that we create, that will create the peace on the world.
Soul family.
Yes.
Yes. Well, Eva, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for taking the time out of your day. And it was a pleasure to be really honest.
Thank you so much. It was delightful to be here with you and good luck with everything you are doing. It just blows my mind how much you evolve from time together. And it's just incredible. So keep doing what you're doing because it is important. You are being you, and
Yes.
that makes the great impact, like great ripples within this world. Just keep going and doing.
Thank you so much, Eva.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.